look at the ruling party, how much young people they have. When I say young, I mean under 35. Our last Minister of Education. No, I need to say it. No, I'm not listening, man. No. Aye, okay. Good afternoon. When am I saying good afternoon? People could be watching this at any time. Whatever. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the SideWalk Senate podcast. It's me and Amris and
I'm Zena.
And today we are going to talk about something that it might, rub some people the wrong way, but is important because at the end of the day, in everything, what we want to do is, discuss ways in which we could build our nation and, improve ourselves as a nation and as human beings. So, Zena, tell them what we're talking about today.
Okay, today we would like to touch on the public sector and the service that we have been receiving as Trimbigonians, and just different aspects of the public sector on the whole.
Right. So, I'm sure everybody in this country undoubtedly would have interacted with some arm of the public service throughout the course of their life, at least one, because every Trinidadian and Tobagonian has a birth certificate,
ID card.
They have IDs, passports.
Well, not every, but
yeah,
you need to have these stuff
yeah,
to function.
So the different services provided by the government for the benefit of us, the citizens, and how it really impacts the way we not just live, but the way that the workforce is, I want to say administrated, but also, the culture, that culture that we seem to have undoubtedly cultivated of, having a very laid back and easygoing public service. A lot of people, when they talk about the public service, they don't have nothing good to say. They basically just, say public servants, all them do is collect money, and they don't do nothing, and and even though it's not true, that I know some very hardworking public servants, but you have to say it have some merit to what people just be saying.
It didn't come out anyway.
Yeah. And it's simple things, that customer service that is sadly lacking. And I feel as though, some people try to brand customer service as something that you only see in retail settings.
Yeah,
and
not
not
selling something.
Yeah, and not necessarily in the way that you serve the people that you are doing work for the benefit of. So that's one thing that, is really, is something that we as a nation, we really lacking. We lacking that customer service, good customer service.
Okay.
Across the board, in the public service, because I feel as though, people, public servants, and those who work within the public service, because not only public servants, seem to have, gotten very comfortable. Some of them, I don't want to say the majority, but a good bit, they're comfortable and they feel as though, my job luck at the end of the day.
Isn't it true? Mostly?
Well, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that because what a lot of people fail to realize that because people think that it's long time when you finish school, you go service commission, you apply for a job and you get a job, and that job is supposed to take you until you retire. But now the job market way more competitive. You have way more qualified persons
Okay.
coming out, and I mean they don't have room for everybody, so it's more competitive. So they're not handing out permanent jobs like that anymore.
Yeah, but that's okay. So that's the new people coming in. They usually on contract. I
Yeah,
understand that. A lot
yeah,
of the new people that enter the public service, they on like what is it, a 3-year contract,
yeah.
and they would renew it if they see fit. But the ones who have been there before for years, underperforming because I don't know they didn't upgrade with the times and all that. Their jobs seem fast secure to me.
Yeah.
Nobody ain't getting rid of them.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, and I'm not like there are those who would have the relevant expertise and they are somehow important to the job, to the service or whatever, but then there's some of them just not making any sense.
Yeah.
And we have younger folk out here with all of these degrees and training, and I mean they may
Correct.
lack relevant experience,
yeah.
but they out here looking for a job, and you have Miss Sandra taking up space. She don't know how to operate the printer. She know how to connect to the Wi-Fi. Please, please. No, it's
No,
ridiculous.
it's no, it's true, it's true, it's true, it's true, it's true.
I don't get it.
It's
And
true.
and some of them are far, well, not far, but over the retirement age,
Yeah,
and they're being called back into, I don't know, train.
yeah, and that's the
I
thing
don't know
too.
what.
It really it does have some older persons who would have worked for years. They really are invaluable. And they know they're able to keep up with the times, they're tech savvy, they pick up things fast.
Yeah, there are people like that. I agree.
But they're in the minority. It's one or two in between.
Yeah.
It's not everybody. Everybody not competent. Everybody not performing. Everybody don't know what they're supposed to do. And that's the next thing. Like, how you doing our job
For so many
for
years.
85 years and you still don't know what to do?
And it's still there. They keeping it there.
Here
But
now.
you don't know what's going on.
I find that baffling, and it's like some of them, they have a routine. They come to work,
They eat.
they eat.
They come to work late.
No, it have some them older ones just be there by the
Early.
crack of dawn, girl.
Alright.
6 o'clock them in office. You read all the papers, all 3 major newspapers. You eat breakfast. Then you start to walk around when people come. You're walking around for 2 hours. Then if you're working in town, they might go down Port of Spain to buy something or to pay a bill.
Or some store sale. They're going in the sale before it sell out.
And I'm always in cloth stores. Like how much fabric all you really
I've
need?
been clothes stores all the time. So
Well, that is you. But no.
I understand. I
Yeah.
understand why they always in the clothes stores. We need fabric.
Girl, but how much clothes they will make? How much curtain and sheets? And for what? For what? During working hours? During working. And the thing is, right, I'm not just saying that based on what I see 1 or 2 people do. It's a pattern I notice with a good few. Well, they always have to go, like in the middle of the morning, 10 o'clock, you going down Port of Spain. At least if 5 out of the 5 working days, 3 days, you just walking up and down in Port of Spain looking for things to buy.
The people want to break the monotony of
But you have a job to do. You have a job to do. And that's another thing. So much time does be wasting. Tell me why it is when somebody needs something done in, and not just something for the public, but like internal affairs. Why does have to go and sit down and get seasoning on somebody's desk for a month, 2 months, 3 months before they take the 3 minutes that it's required to do the task on the file before it could,
yeah.
Why, like what is going on? What and not just what's going on, but what can we do to,
Make it more efficient.
yeah, because I mean more often than not, things like that take long is usually staff issues, whether it's people promotion, salary increase, gratuity, whatever it is, things like that. Why it is only taking so long to fix people's business?
So it's not just the general public that gets in poor service. It's
Is
the
the public
servants
servants too? Exactly.
who are
Exactly.
in a mess.
And I mean, that is something that bothers me because for me, happy employees are efficient employees. So, me personally, with my bad mind self, if it is I have something that I need to get done and I realize it not taking the time that I think it should take or the time that it should reasonably take, I go and rock back because I say, well, all they don't care about me, so I keep in that same energy.
Yeah.
So I also on go slow. My work getting kept back. Let me just put a disclaimer. I don't do this in real life.
Well, I know good and ask what.
So I'm just
What
speaking
kind of
in
behavior you
general.
get known with?
I just speaking in general terms. So if my boss see this, I don't do this, okay? I'm just speaking generally. Right. So, you would say, well, all it okay about me, I go in and do what I need to do.
So, but Amrus, what constitutes? No, I have to ask you because I work in the private sector, so I don't know about these things. At least ours run efficiently. I know there are some private sector, you would say it's public sector as well.
Yeah.
But what do you think would contribute to such a workplace culture?
I think people just get complacent. They just, especially, I would say the more senior officers. And when I say senior, I mean people who have been working in the public service for
years.
over 15 years. So they're not necessarily old, but they have that amount of years experience. People tell themselves, okay, well, regardless of what I do, short of killing somebody or fighting somebody or burning down the building, I cannot get fired. And I will not get fired. You might get a warning letter if push comes to shove. But at the end of the day, that's just a warning. So I think it's complacency, and I think too is a culture. Because I have seen and heard stories of people, they go into a different ministry or government office because, remember, public services include corporations and boroughs. And some of them out here, they do nothing. Sorry to say, but they really they don't. Yeah. I have seen people go in, they try to be efficient.
But because it's so much other inefficiency,
Because it will frustrate them.
Trying to change the system.
Yeah, so they have to literally adjust their pace to
And
work
fall
at
in
the
line.
pace of the rest of the organization. And for me too, is a problem with administration, like the people, not necessarily the people at the top, because more often than not, the people at the top pushing work. But it's like the middle management.
Mid-management,
They really do like hold up the organizations. Because without like the department heads, you can't really function. But they themselves need to back up. So for me, like, okay, when I look at legal affairs, I mean, not legal affairs now, because now they're going good. Because of course, they digitize everything. But like legal affairs, I would say probably 5 years ago. You could tell me why, as a manager, I would be okay with persons coming after the office opening 8 o'clock, but you have to reach there minutes to 6 to line up, just to be able to, get in by 8 o'clock into a government office that is supposed to be open from 8 to 3:30. That makes no sense. And I mean, 5 years ago, the internet up and running, almost everybody had data. So it's not to say that, it was like inaccessibility. What was holding all it back from, making these online calendars, having people set appointments? Because I used to pass South Key and see people with their babies outside. And
even, sorry to cut you across, even like the process to get a passport, and why that used to
Yeah.
take so long?
Listen.
Why?
Listen.
Why?
And I mean, we have access to the information on how we could upgrade. We have the facilities to upgrade. We have a whole ministry of information, right?
So then it had to mean that they didn't want to upgrade.
And honestly, I really blame middle management because you all are supposed to be taking these concerns to, the PSs, the chairman, the mayor, like, oh gosh, but you yourself, if you're not up to date
Yeah.
and you're not, with the times, I could expect you to be,
Yeah.
to function properly. It's,
Because I saw a picture that was circulating recently, with all the files from, I think it was supposed to be in General Hospital. It was like this big room with a gazillion I assume it's patient files. And people were saying, like, if it were that younger people were in charge, then that file room would not exist. Because
Exactly.
it would be digital. But
yeah.
my honest view is that the resistance, two reasons I think for the resistance to go in digital, and this is in all licensing office, ID card, wherever, whoever had to digitize, and they're now they're now streamlining. The first is that obviously the older folks who aren't tech savvy, so they prefer the filing system. They
Yeah.
prefer to search through 100 documents rather than upgrade
Yeah.
their credentials. And so it's a lot of nepotism and corruption, bubble, people stealing things from wherever, the hospital, the offices, they're stealing equipment. So when you could tear up the files, get rid of the evidence, shred the documents, why would you want to digitize? Like, this is keeping back your agenda.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
so I could see. So it really is a cultural thing where we have to move.
Excuse.
I don't know how they're going to move away from it. I don't know how they're going to dissolve it, because honestly, I think that that whole issue of corruption has nothing to do with age, and it has nothing to do with the different generations that we have. But it's
Right.
really your mindsets.
Yeah,
Because it
yeah.
have young people in bubble.
For
it have
sure.
it have them, and they probably even better at it because they're so tech savvy.
Kill. I don't think so, because if you look at, like, let me just use as an example, the corporations where people get catch in corruption recently. It's nobody old. Everybody look between 20 and 50. Right? So I don't feel they too they're too up and up with the corruption yet. I mean, they probably don't have enough experience. So,
They probably didn't have the equipment in the place for them to move how they should have moved. I don't know.
They ain't learned the ropes good yet. Oh gosh. And the thing is too, like, for me, I don't get why I would want to work in a place that is supposed to primarily be functioning on behalf of the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and I am not doing that. Like, if it is you don't care about this country, you should not be working in any public service.
So is it? I mean, because I just trying to find way. My thing is, the way how I see it is that we get bad service from public servants because they are probably not having a good time. Like, no, straight up. And it's probably a symptom. It's probably the poor service is a symptom of something that is taking place in their offices, in their organizations. And I mean, you could look at workplace culture. You could look at how the superiors deal with the subordinates.
Yeah.
You could look at salaries. I'm not sure if you all are paid what you should be paid.
No,
if
ma'am,
you're
we
in
are not.
2021 functioning on a
2013. I
Yeah.
think that was when they did the last increase.
a 2013 salary, and all of these things, all of these, like, we in 2021, right? You collect a 2013 salary, but the grocery prices in 2025.
Yep.
These things make you unhappy, and it's easier to have people pass money. To get their services done, it's easier to
yeah.
run a racket
Yeah.
because the incentive is there. You're not being paid enough. So while I'm not making an excuse for them, I'm just trying to understand the thinking behind it. And I think that not being paid properly and being unhappy, like being in a, I don't know if the workplace is toxic. Some of them might be, but being in an unhappy place, it is it's a good incentive to take a bribe to actually do what you're supposed to be doing for free.
I would have to agree with you, especially on the point about the work culture, because let me tell you something. You see, when one thing I've noticed is that now I'm not talking specifically about the ministry where I work because I know it have people watching would know where I work in, but I have worked at several ministries, in the course of my employment, from since leaving secondary school to now. And I have noticed that it's a lot of fight down that younger persons, who qualified with at least a degree, get a lot of opposition, fight down, and pushback and hate from the older ones who have, yes, you have years of experience, but they never bothered to, go and get qualified with anything further than what they would have entered the public service with now.
Yeah.
So that is a big, like, honestly, and I could say that it probably exists across the entire public service. That's a big, 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 big source of contention. The ones with degrees as opposed to the ones with experience. When it should really be the ones with experience. Because for me, I feel like experience is so valuable.
Yeah.
You can't ever knock experience. You could have 10 degrees, but if you have no experience, it doesn't really help you be a better worker because you have to know how to function in a work environment in order to be able to use your degrees.
Yeah.
So for me, I would have thought, if I was naive, I would have thought, okay, coming into the workforce that, okay, this person has been here 100 years. And she literally knows everything. He literally knows everything. They would mentor me and try to teach me. It does not, granted, there are people like that, but it doesn't always work like that. And I feel as though that itself is a demotivating factor for a lot of younger ones. And even in the instances where you have older ones that qualified, have the same qualifications as you, they see you as competition because, youth will always have an advantage. But for me, it's important that, we learn to coexist. And like, I had no idea that older persons were so petty until I started working in the public service because I thought that when you reach a certain age, just be like, all right, that is it.
Time to rest up.
Yeah, let me behave and be a responsible, good adult now. I give all you a good run for your money. Some of them, they just overdo it. The simplest things, like they refuse to be of any kind of assistance. And then it's like, okay, so you're not doing your work.
Yeah.
Some of y'all. You're not doing your work. And when I ask you for assistance or advice on how to do mine, you don't want to give me. Because you swear I will take your job. You're not doing your job anyway.
And then it have some of them, they don't understand how this actually, as frustrating as it might be, this actually helps the younger person coming up. So they don't help you with your job, but you figure out how to do it. You figure out a way how to do it, and you do it good.
Yeah.
And then the superior assign you to their job.
Yeah.
So now you learning to do two things.
Yeah.
Whilst they didn't want to show you how to do one anyway. And so the learning curve for you is steep because you're learning how to do everything that everybody is supposed to do. And then they vex with you because you know how to do everything. But that's not your fault.
Yeah. It sucks. And for me, I find it unfair because from what I would have heard, it was not like that. The persons who were like the seniors in the public service, who are now our seniors, were juniors, were very mentoring to them. Not everybody, because of course they would have bad apples.
Yeah.
but they were mentors. They showed them around. They helped them in the sense that, okay, they were able to identify this worker, he better with this. This worker good with numbers, so we put you here. This person good with words, so we put you here. So they put them in places where they were stronger and could function better. Now them trying to sink you. They're trying to sink you, and it's like, why? Why? For me, it all comes back down to patriotism. And it don't even have to be patriotism, because if you understand how any job across the workforce, any job, whether it's public or private, if you understand how it works, it takes cooperation. You have to cooperate. You have to work together. Yeah. Unless you want me to try and do everything. And I mean, I can't. I know what my strength is.
Yeah.
And what you could do, I definitely cannot do. I wouldn't know where to start.
Yeah.
So like, we really need to revise the way that, not just the way that we do things. Before we revise the way that we do things, we need to revise the way that we think, the way that we approach work. And then there's some people, them just want to get paid, they don't want to work. Because I could tell all for a fact that it have public servants that since this pandemic,
they home,
skinning out, living their best life.
People real happy for this pandemic and this work from home option. So they could, what's the word I'm looking for? They could pretend, they don't have to pretend to be working because they're not in the office and nobody see them. So they could just stay home and relax, and they could take off the show.
Yeah. And then it have people, don't say I say, but have people every month they in quarantine.
Listen, since the pandemic, you can't even call in sick again, because everybody wants to know if it's COVID.
Some people, I literally know of somebody, every time they have some deadline, I had to go in 2 weeks quarantine. I had to go in 2 weeks. So you're done not going in the office every day, but the days that you have to go, you can't go. You can't go because you're in quarantine. And then when you hear the shout, it's because the person all over, all my arrow driving.
Some of them, they never had to go in quarantine to
Exactly. So yeah, for me, what I think we could do to improve, definitely digitize, continue to digitize. It have a lot of things that persons are doing, especially human resources work, that they need to remove the human element completely, because most HRs, whether we like to admit it or not, they function based on whether they like the person or not. And that's just true tea. So if they don't like it, your thing will sit down there for 10 years. If you are the best friend, before you even send it, they already,
process it. Yeah.
So for certain things, especially HR functions, somebody needs to develop an app. You understand? And I know we have a lot of brilliant minds that could do that. Right here in Trinidad and Tobago, we don't have to pay no foreign person or entity no big set of money. We have local people that could do that right here. Develop an app that the government could purchase and apply it to certain things. That will mean some people going home. Oh well. Also, we need to improve our attitudes, because we can't have this horrible attitude towards work at all that it's not cutting it. It's not cutting it. And the thing is, right, even now more so, money tight for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And even if it's not tight per se, a lot of people now really understand and noticing the value of money. So people more than anything want value for the money that they're spending. So if I pay in taxes, I want value for my money. So I want all here to function. I don't want, when I call the corporation to get certain things done, that
you can't even get through to the phone. The phone ringing off the hook.
And that's the thing, how is it okay? I know this off topic. How is it okay that corporations and Yeah, borough and regional corporations. How come them could work for the morning alone and go
You know what is their salary?
pre-COVID? No.
Is morning alone pay.
Oh, okay.
They're
Okay.
not getting full pay.
I really didn't know.
No,
I
I
was
don't think
like,
they're getting full pay. No, that's why. But I feel like they would run more efficient if they would make it into a whole day full time job.
yeah,
They would
definitely.
obviously run more efficient. And there are some people who work in the corporations who actually work. I mean, because of the nature of whatever department they are in, they do things beyond lunchtime
Okay.
because that's just how as it won't function already in functioning as efficient as it should be. But there
Yeah.
are some of them that work, even like the counselors and all that, they're supposed to be working up until lunchtime, I believe. But they do
Okay.
things, yeah, and
And
the
I
pay is
know
not
the
that much.
counselors definitely, well, most of them
Yeah.
work 24/7.
Yeah, yeah. And the
Because
pay
people
is
always calling them.
pay is not that much. The pay is not that much.
But not necessarily them. I'm talking about the staff in the office. Because I am thinking like regular working hours is 8 to 4. But if you call them like 1 o'clock,
No, you wouldn't- no, that office
nobody.
closed up long time.
Yeah.
Them don't reach home.
No, nobody do answer the phone. So them don't walk with lunch to work. They will just
For
eat lunch when they reach home.
When they go wherever they go, walk at lunch. Yeah,
Oy.
but yeah, I don't think that they're being paid a full day. They shouldn't. I'd hope not, because they're not working a full day. So I'm not too sure. Honestly, I'm not too sure how it started and why that would have been the agreement to have the regional corp work half day, and then it probably morphed into something much larger than whatever the initial idea was. So they should really work on upgrading it and have them work full day.
Definitely. Yeah, and upgrade the pay too.
You know,
Because
as they say, upgrade. This off topic. You see, EBC, the ID card office. You see that webcam that's all they're using to take out people pictures.
my God.
That zooming into your nose, and it not take no. You know how webcams. I don't know how to explain, but webcams do not. It don't capture your face properly, right?
Yeah,
The picture quality poor.
very.
It's attached to the computer, so you can't adjust it according to who's sitting there. And why all you would want to take people? Amorous, if you see how my picture come out again. No, no.
Oh gosh.
No, because no. All licensing office with all the trouble, whatever you could say about licensing office, they have good cameras, eh?
You're sure right?
And they have the what you called the umbrella thing.
Yeah.
And the man had some sheets over the
Yeah.
they have
real
a
high-tech
they have a
thing.
full setup, eh?
Yeah.
And when he take the picture, he let you see it and make sure you're okay with it.
Right,
Or he
yeah.
will take it over. They have a good quality camera. The picture on my license, my driver's license, actually looks like me.
Yeah.
The one for my ID card, however, like if I go with my ID card to do something and the person tell me it invalid, I'm not even going to fight them, because no, it really does not look like me. I
Yeah.
do not know who is that.
Yeah.
I don't know who is that, but it's not me. And I do get it. I take selfies on my way to the no filter or nothing. On my way to the office, it come out normal.
Yeah.
And then your picture, and the girl, she took it like 3 times. I was just like, yeah, just take that and go, because eventually I was fed up, because, like, what do you
And
have?
that's the thing, like that outdated machine all you're using. How hard it is to hook up a phone, buy an iPhone or a Samsung or any
And
kind of
take a
phone.
picture.
Take a picture, upload the picture.
I
How
should
hard
have
that is?
I should have taken the picture with my
And
phone
give them it, yeah.
and email it to them.
Yeah.
Or tell people, walk with a passport picture, go in the studio and say, I would do that.
But you see, all of that too have to do with administration. Because they could never in life be serious. And
People
when
will still use webcams in 2021.
first of all.
I don't understand.
And then when you go in the office, I don't know if they ever showed you like the book where they have everybody.
Yeah.
They still have that.
Yeah.
So they have no digital records,
none.
You're
They-
flipping through a
the
big,
girl-
big, big spell book with everybody in Trinidad and
Everybody
Tobago
picture, the name, the address, and your signature.
And them and all those close early, but like, we don't go there. Yeah, girl. So it's a lot of issues. And the thing is, right, it's frustrating when you looking at the problem, you know how to fix it, or at least a temporary fix. And you thinking that, okay, to the normal, everyday man, this would be the common sense thing to do, and them just not doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. If God forbid there's a fire or I don't know, a flood or anything and the records get damaged, what you're gonna do?
Or not even that, if they get rats.
Yeah, something, any random thing that eats a termite book.
Because
I don't know.
that kind of storage, unless the room is like the temperature
Temperature,
regulated, that'll encourage rats to come and make nests. Rats, cockroaches, moths that will eat all that paper.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. And the thing is, for some people, they don't see a problem with that, you know. Them don't see a problem with that at all.
And they know the library inside out. And that is their skill.
Yeah.
They know where to find every single file and they're proud of it.
We really need to do something. But for me, I feel like they need to do a clean sweep. All the persons who no longer, the skills no longer applicable. VSEP, yes. Oh gosh, that song bad. Oh well, sorry.
And then the union will come in for them.
Well, I mean, they could work out something because you can't take all them years for granted. You must have some information or some skill that you could share that would help the place to be more efficient, you know, or something. But if your skills are no longer required, or if I identify you as a hindrance, you better look to press, because we, at the end of the day, we don't want to keep being called third world. We want to be able to be efficient.
Yeah.
And for me, more than anything, it is be sad, especially when you know it have people that working so hard. You know, and like literally, I know public servants who would literally work 6 and 7 days a week, right? From top to bottom. And then to come now, at the end of where you pass the battle, it's like you running full speed ahead. And then when you pass the battle, the person sit down and open a lawn chair.
Yeah.
And decide to, you know, play a game on the phone or something.
Yeah.
That in itself is demoralizing and frustrating and annoying. So yeah, we need to do something, boy. We need to do something. So guys, if you all have any contributions, you know, suggestions on what can be done to improve the public service, to improve the way things are done in this country, please feel free to leave a comment. Feel free to weigh in on the discussion. Tell us what you think. And, you know, we look forward to hearing your feedback. We look forward to chatting with you all.
Don't forget to follow the pages, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, SideWalk Senate Podcast. The links will be posted below, in the video below.
And if you want, you can follow our personal social media, which we will also post below. You know, just to keep in touch with us, keep up with us. And yeah, we'll see you all on the next episode.